Hi there, today we're going to go through the Wishbone Cruise, its assembly.
Just having a quick look what's inside the box. We've got our assembly instructions. We've got our forks, the main frame, the rear trailing arms, and if we lift that tray up, you can see
There's the wheels and the seat.
the little bag of parts. We've got an M5 Allen key, two M4 Allen keys, the rear axle, the headset bolt, a centre bolt, and two seat post bolts.
What I tend to do is start with the forks and the front frame. Then we've kind of put the main part together. To do this, we've got our headset bolt, looks like this, and we're going to need to use one of the Allen keys, the small M4 Allen key. First of all, I line it up so that the fork and frame are connected there.
And this is where we're going to use that longer headset bolt. Just removing that off the end and positioning that through there. I flip it over and you can see where it's coming up from below.
And then we take the nylock nut and position it into the forks. Now, doing this, be careful that you always leave the dome side facing out. That means that the bolt will do it better and you won't get caught out at any point in time with the nylock grabbing the wrong way round. So I'm just winding that down till it's relatively tight. The nice thing about doing the forks first is that we've now got a reasonably stable platform to rest the bike on. Grabbing the rear trailing arms, you've got a left and a right. The centre bolt goes through from the left to right in this case. You position it through there and then bring the second one up to the other side. Again, we've got the situation where we've got the nut, the nylock nut to go on. Again, making sure that the dome side is facing out. The flat side will face in. And here we're going to position that like that and grab the M5 Allen key and we're just going to do that together. Do that up. And what you'll see is that gives us basically the main part of the frame. I always start with the front wheel because it's there. So we're just going to drop that off. Undo the axle is already in place here, you can see. The long centre bolt that goes through, there's a nut on the other side of that. And you've got the axle itself. Grabbing the front wheel, I position it between both of the aluminium spaces and the nylon bush on each end, like so. And then position it in between the forks. It should drop in there relatively easily. And then your axle goes through the very centre. Pulling that all together. It's probably easiest to use an Allen key on both ends here. So I've got one for the left, one for the right hand side of the frame. And just do that up. Do it up relatively tightly, but you can also check that that's going to work by spinning it that way. Looks pretty good. Back wheel.
Put that aside. Like the front wheel, we've got two aluminium spaces each side. If I put the axle through there and the space for each side, and you'll see there's approximately 10 millimeters of space on either end, and that's going to go into the rear frame. So bring that up. Okay, so now we've got that in place, we're just going to put the centre bolt through, pulling it in. There's a bit of a trick here that you kind of want to hold it together somewhat. So I'm going to try and at the front. And grab our Allen keys and just pull it in that way. There we have that. Give it a quick spin, make sure it's still working. And flipping it over, we're going to now move on to the seat. So you can see here we've got two holes in the frame and we've got a seat post which has come from the original wooden bike. Dropping that into this gap, we push it down until the holes line up, and then taking the other bolts that are in the back, we can position that through there, one through the top hole Now through the bottom hole, that's in place. Just do that up now with the Allen key. Either side we can do that up, and the top one as well.
And the last thing that we're missing here is the bike grips. So there should be two black grips in the box. Obviously one's left and one's right. Put that on the end, push it on. Now if you have a bit of trouble getting it on, which may be the case, hot tip is that I've got some liquid hand soap here, and just tend to squirt a little bit of that onto the frame, and then you can find that that grip will go on a lot easier. So we're just pushing that on, and we've got the bike ready to ride. There you are. Hope you enjoy.